Thank you everybody for joining us. Today I want to talk a little bit about piston replacement compressors. To give you a little history about it, in 2005 we noticed that the GM 10S compressor, a new one by Denso, which fits the 01 to 2014 Chevy pickup, Tahoe, the whole 9 yards, they were having a problem with the reed valve breaking. So as we got with the engineers, we went ahead and made that same compressor on the outside design with that 10 PA gut pack, and it was very successful. That compressor is still our #1 selling compressor today. With the knowledge that we learned on converting these compressors to the 10 PA design, we started looking for other compressors, to identify where they were having problems. The biggest problem you have with a rotary vane compressor, it has blades that drop from the sleeves that makes the compression. One of the biggest problems they have is if the vehicle sits for 2 or 3 months, well, all of a sudden the blades will not drop down to let it have compression. One thing that most people didn't know, like the Panasonic, the rotary vanes, is that when you put that compressor on there would be a note in the box saying that you had to rev the engine up to 2,000 or 2,500 RPMs to get the blades to drop to start the compression. So, we already knew that there was a problem with these compressors. And a couple of things that we noticed on the Nissan applications, besides it being a rotary vane, the OE rotary vane will have an ambient temperature switch. On the GPDs, you do not need that switch because we don't have a heating issue. The biggest problem with the rotary vanes is that they're more prone to fail. If there's any debris that's left in the system, that blade will not let the compressor compress and give you the compression that you need. Also, if it ever gets low on refrigerant or it gets a little bit low on oil, those blades will lock up, so they're very prone to problems. And with the piston replacement, you don't have to prime it. They're a lot more forgiving with debris. If the system's low on oil, you will get one more chance. So overall, they're a lot more durable. They look identical, they perform wonderfully, and we've never had any complaints. So a lot of the Nissans that we've sold over the years, they are a 10 PA design. They're not the OE rotary vane, and the success has been wonderful with these. Another one of the rotary vane compressors that we had issues with was the Mazda. The Mazda 3, the Mazda 5. The compressor is mounted on the bottom of the oil pan, and with that compressor mounted on the bottom of the oil pan, A, it always had heat, and B, all the oil would drain into that compressor when the vehicle was shut off. And then that created a pool of oil. When you first started it up, it had to pump the oil out of the compressor, which caused a lot of issues. What about the piston replacement for the rotary vane, especially on the Mazda? It greatly reduced any kind of premature failure on that particular style. Then we went into the Subarus. With all the success that we had with the Nissans and the Mazdas, we also noticed that the Subarus were using a lot of the rotary vane compressors. So we came out with a nice line of piston replacements for the Subarus. We took great strides in making sure that the form, fit, and function of these compressors that are piston replacements look identical to the OE and also mount exactly the same as the OE. As we identified the other vehicles that failed prematurely, there are several of them out there. If you look in the GPD catalog on some of the applications, we will still offer the original style and then also a piston replacement in the catalog. So anytime that you see that there is a piston replacement, feel free that it is a good quality compressor.